Yep, we're live.
Those of you that are with us, those of you that are going to join us in a minute, welcome to the Front Office Report. I'm back here with young Daniel. How are we doing, my friend?
Good. Better now that the first week of Premier League is over after recuperating from that Arsenal loss. But it is what
Yeah,
it
but
is.
you've had some good news this afternoon, so
Yeah, exactly.
hopefully we will come on to that. I mean, it depends. What do we want to start with? Do we want to go with preview next week or this weekend's fixture? What am I saying next week? Should we start with that and we can sort of
we can
touch
start
on
with that.
Arsenal when we get to it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, we'll just have a little bit of a chat about Premier League fixtures this weekend. We'll probably touch on a few other bits and pieces. Would quite like to get Dan's opinion on the Lewandowski news, the potential for him moving away from Bayern, which would be quite a surprise.
Definitely.
But we'll come on to that. And a few other bits and pieces. We'll have a little, maybe a chat about La Liga, see how Barcelona and Real Madrid did last week and how they're going to get on this week. But I think let's start in the Premier League. We'll go with, you know what, I've got the shirt on. They are the first game this weekend. I think we should go with my Liverpool, to be honest, to start our little discussion.
I like it.
Playing Burnley tomorrow. I'm very confident. I'm not going to lie. I'm confident. We had a great start last week. Could you see anything but 3 points for the mighty Reds tomorrow?
I don't think so. Liverpool looked really, really good. And yeah, but I just don't. I think Burnley might hit the drop this season.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah,
okay.
I do think so. I do think so, just because of the quality. The first look at those newly promoted teams, Wolves, Norwich, and Brentford, they all looked pretty good.
Watford.
Sorry. And yeah, they all looked really good. And Burnley's just like a hanging in there kind of team, I feel like. But yeah. We'll see. But I really do think Liverpool kind of clean them up.
Yeah, I think Burnley have probably been our bogey team in the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going to have anyone, Sean Dyche absolutely loves getting a point or two off us here or there. I just, like you said, I could very well see them dropping as well. They've not really they've made one signing that I can see, and Nathan Collins, a centre back from Stoke, who I think at one point actually I'm sure Arsenal were linked with. But apart from that, they don't really look as though they've strengthened that much. The end of last season, I haven't got it in front of me, but I can't imagine they were much higher than 15th, if that. I think they're going to struggle this year.
I think the issue when you play Burnley and you're a big team like Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, is that they are just going to sit back with 11 men and defend for their lives. They don't really play football. And it's annoyed me, like as an Arsenal supporter in the past, we also struggle against them because they don't. It's kind of like the best way to defeat a team which passes a lot is to just sit back and defend. Just create no space. They can have it in the final third if they want, but they're not going to go anywhere. They're not going to get in the box. You can't shoot from distance. It's really, really difficult. So that's, I guess, one good reason why Burnley may get like a draw or maybe a shock result out of it. But yeah, I just don't see them kind of. It might be like something like 20 shots to Liverpool, but I just don't see it. You know, as soon as one goal goes in, I think a couple more will follow. And Salah is in fine form, and Liverpool are back to nearly full strength. It's just Andy Robertson that's missing, correct?
Yeah, I mean the only players we're missing. Andy Robertson had a bit of a knock in that first game, but he was back running this week already, I think, in training, so I don't think he'll be out for long.
That's bad for me because I still have Simikas in my
I was going to say, I brought him in for fantasy as well. I'm going to have to get rid of him.
I hope Andy takes another extended break.
Precautionary, let's just be precautionary.
And, exactly.
Apart from that, we've only got people coming back. Henderson's coming back. He didn't play last week. Thiago didn't play last week. I don't know if they're playing tomorrow. I think Klopp said they're both sort of in contention, but I don't think we necessarily need to rush them back. I would quite like to not be having a 35-year-old James Milner starting too many Premier League games for us, to be honest.
I don't think so, yeah.
But again, centre mid is probably where we're at our strongest, potentially.
Yeah.
I thought Naby Keita, I have to say, actually might have been. I know Salah grabbed a lot of the headlines. Goal, 2 assists, maybe
Yeah,
1 or 2 assists. But I thought Naby Keita could very easily have taken the man of the match. He was really, really good
yeah,
last week, and I still have hope for him to be a top class Premier League midfielder. I mean,
right.
this is a guy that before he moved to Liverpool, his last season at Leipzig, I'm sure he had the German Footballer of the Year award or
Hmm.
something along the, at least shared it potentially with someone. He was incredible. I mean, I know Bundesliga, Premier League, but he was very, very good. And I still have hope for him. I think potentially a midfield of Fabinho, Keita, Thiago/Henderson. I mean,
Right.
I'd be pretty
Yeah, and
pleased with that.
your
But
next game is against Chelsea after this one, isn't it? Yeah, so
yeah, I
you
believe
kind
it
of
is.
yeah. So this is kind of one of those where you got like a two easy-ish games to get your
Nice to ease
groove
us in.
going. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Before being like thrown against to the wolves, if you will. But yeah,
That could be an interesting game.
I
Just on
think
a oh no, I was just gonna say on one side note, just going back to Burnley, just really quickly. I had a look at the table. They did actually finish 17th last season,
yep, that's what I'm
but
saying.
they avoided the drop. They were 9 points, 11 points clear of Fulham, which maybe slightly flattered them.
Right.
But you could be right. I think we could see a Burnley relegation this
Yeah,
year.
I wouldn't be
Um,
surprised. It's kind of like one of those teams where they are fighting for their lives every single year. They're not fun to watch. It's not, there's some championship teams that come up, like Leeds were last year, who are like, oh, this is like a fun team to watch. I would like them to stay in the Premier League. If Burnley go
yeah,
down, there's not going to be many
I
tears
don't
shed
care.
outside of
I
Burnley.
do not care. Yeah.
So yeah, it's just one of those where I really don't care at all if they go down. And if they go
I
down,
completely agree with
sorry,
you.
but it's you got to have good football in the Premier League, and they just
Yeah.
don't have it. They don't have it.
It's
So
just not. Yeah, it's just not very positive.
yeah,
And it's a shame because they do have. But they have that winger, the young English lad who I've completely forgotten his name.
same.
I'm gonna
Have a
have to
quick
look
look.
this up, otherwise it's gonna really bug me. Dwight McNeil,
Yeah,
who's 21 years old, very positive. Like he's a really exciting player, but they just don't really use him. Yeah, again, Nick Pope, he's another solid player. He could be playing
right.
above. James Tarkowski, he could probably be playing above. So they've got a few. Yeah, I mean, aside from that, there's not really a whole lot going on in that squad.
Yeah, I
But
feel like those guys,
yeah,
if the drop did happen for Burnley, they'd be moving
yeah,
elsewhere.
they'd be off. Yeah. I mean, I think that's enough Burnley talk. Anything else to add
Yeah.
on about Liverpool? I think,
No.
yeah, great start.
Yep. Classic
I'm very
Liverpool. It's
happy.
just going to be a nice little breeze into the season and
Yeah.
be top of the league. And yeah, yeah,
I mean, I'm very optimistic about this season. I think I saw BBC Sport. I don't know if you saw this. They got a sort of 25 of their pundits to predict the top four of the Premier League.
yeah,
Not one of them has selected Liverpool to win the league, which, you know
yeah,
what? You stick that up in the dressing room
yeah,
wall.
yeah.
That's
It's
all the
one of those.
motivation those
Yeah.
players need.
To
Absolutely all they need.
to be honest, I kind of agree, but it's a difficult one
I
because
genuinely feel it could be a four-way coin flip.
yeah, it could be. That's the thing is it's
I
so
genuinely
difficult. I
think.
just think City and Man United. Well, City just pretty much stayed the same. They got Grealish in. He didn't look particularly that good for Man City on his debut.
Should we move on to City actually?
Yeah,
Because
we can move on to
they
City.
could be the next game, and I feel sorry for Norwich because they start with Liverpool and now they've got to play City. City
Yeah,
coming off obviously a loss to Tottenham.
yeah,
As you say, Grealish not a great start. What
yeah.
else did you think from that game?
I just City looked kind of not clueless, but just repetitive in the way they were playing. I thought uh, it was really obvious that they lacked like a proper striker, like someone they can ping the ball to. That's why I really do think they're going to go after Harry Kane. And they just, Ferran Torres is very, very good, but he just doesn't seem to be that guy who can hold up the ball
I
very
mean,
well.
he's not exactly the biggest of dudes, is
Yeah,
he?
he's an excellent player. I think he's going to be, the future of Spain with Pedri. He's a fantastic player, but he's just, when you're up against those big guys who are, Premier League centre backs, imagine going up against Van Dijk. I don't think Ferran Torres is going to fare exceptionally well against those guys. But Harry Kane, on the other hand, could quite easily, hold his own. He's been holding his own for 9-10 years
Quite a
now.
while.
Yeah, so I thought Man City looked very sluggish, if you will. They did a lot of repetitive stuff. Sterling looked good, but Grealish really didn't look that good. He didn't look like a £100 million player. He looked more like a £20 million player.
Yeah, I did see some interesting takes on Twitter following the game. Obviously, Grealish is a player that likes to sort of pick up the ball, run at defenders.
Yeah.
Whereas Man City and Pep Guardiola, their sort of philosophy of football is pass and move, pass and move.
Yeah,
Always
exactly.
looking for the gaps.
Yeah.
And people saying maybe he's not actually probably the sort of the smartest pick of £100 million player for Man City.
Yeah.
Are we assuming that Grealish is going to have to change his play style potentially a little bit to try and fit into that style?
I think so, because I think what really killed them that game was Sterling and Grealish almost did the exact same thing where they were trying to run at players with the ball and they got fouled. I don't remember what the guy's name is. The guy who is playing right back. English guy.
Tanganga?
Yeah, that one. Amazing, because all he did every single time
yeah.
was just be exceptionally rough with Sterling and Grealish, two guys who are not strong on the ball. They like to go down very easily, and he got away with a dozen fouls maybe before getting yellow carded.
I'm sure he got the man of the match as well.
He should have, because
I think he did.
He stopped them both, and that's the perfect way to deal with Man City, is being rough with their players, because it stops the counter-attack, it stops them from moving, it stops them from doing their pass and move, quick, very fast attacks. If you slow it down to a free kick, that gives you time for all your players to be back in your own third. And, it shuts down. We were talking about Burnley doing it, having 11 men behind the ball. You have 11 men behind the ball against City. It's really, really difficult to break down. So I think they did an exceptional job, even though I hate Spurs.
Yeah, I mean, you saying anything nice about Spurs?
Yeah, they did. They did.
A surprise.
I wouldn't say Spurs did a fantastic job, because, they did do a lot of sitting back and waiting. But I think their right back, it looks exceptional, really, really good. I wish Arsenal had someone at right back like that. So, yeah, he was exceptional, really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying here that seeing here that Guardiola actually said that Jack Grealish was excellent in the game against Spurs for his personality and his influence.
I don't know what.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. From the highlights, yeah, from the highlights I saw, I wasn't particularly impressed. I don't think he had that much of an influence on the game. And fair enough to Spurs, the goal that they scored. I mean, Heung-min Son is
amazing.
What a player! Although Ruben Dias, who has just won the PFA, whatever they're called nowadays, Player of the Year last season. Did he sort of just let the ball go through him a little bit? And then even Ederson, I don't think Ederson really did fantastically for that goal either.
Like I said at the beginning, they were sluggish. Man City just looked not switched on. I understand that, because most of their players were on international duty, if not all of them, whether it was in the Copa America.
But then you look at Liverpool, you look at Man United, Chelsea, full of internationals.
Yeah, but Spurs aren't. That's what I'm saying. Spurs had everyone resting. I don't know who Højbjerg was playing. That was it. I don't know. A couple guys would have been on the bench. I'm sure. But I'm pretty sure.
Did Lucas Moura go to the? I don't think he went to Copa America.
Yeah.
Dele Alli wasn't playing for England. Lloris went, but he's a goalkeeper. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're all very rested. Yeah.
So I think Man City are just sluggish, and that was the kick up the arse that they probably needed to get going this season. I don't think they're going to, go on this massive losing streak, because that's just not what teams do. Yeah, I'm sure.
That would be amazing.
I don't know, but then the flip side is that Man City are probably going to go okay, here's 200 million for Harry Kane. If it gets bad, they're just going to be okay, we're just going to spend all the money that we need. So, interesting. But we did talk about Lewandowski. Do you think that's an alternate option to Harry Kane?
It's interesting. It's interesting. Obviously, this is the news that Lewandowski has apparently told Bayern Munich that he wants a new challenge. He has won everything there. I can understand, but the Bayern Munich, I believe, are asking for 100 million pounds, euros, 100
Yeah.
million of some currency
Yeah.
for a man who is now, I believe, 35.
Yeah.
Is in, and Lewandowski is a machine, like
Yeah.
physically ridiculous. It's not as if he's like a Zlatan at 35,
Yeah.
or he is in very, very good physical condition. Has just come off another season of, I think he equaled or surpassed Gerd Muller's record in the Bundesliga for most goals in one season.
Yeah.
So he's not slowing down. But then you have a look at sort of the age gap. Harry Kane is what,
29.
28?
He's
29,
29 now,
yeah.
I think. Yeah.
You're 6 years on. Whether you're probably going to have to spend more on Kane, but then you have more longevity.
Yeah.
It's a tough choice.
It is.
I mean, you could look at that and think, okay, we spend 100 million on Lewandowski, 3 seasons. I mean, 3 at a push, maybe.
Yeah.
33 mil each a year. It could be worth it. And again, to have, like, he is a striker. Like, he can hold up the ball. He can shield it from defenders. Again, Premier League is a different animal. Whether he could do it against your Van Dijks, your Vestergaard, Ben White, etc. It's interesting to see. But that would be, I don't know who I'd be more frightened of them getting. Lewandowski or Kane.
For me, it's Lewandowski. Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. I just because he has the winner mentality, is he thrives on that. He's won everything basically. Harry Kane's won nothing apart from individual awards, which is fine. That's really good. He's an exceptional player, but I think I would take Lewandowski if I had the choice. But then again, like you said, who knows how long he's going to play for that. It's quite often that these older players, when they sign that new contract, they just, for whatever reason, go downhill a little bit. There's not quite the intensity. I do think,
unless you're a Cristiano Ronaldo.
Of course. That's with an asterisk his name has. I do think it's a ploy to get a huge amount of money for him to stay. I do think that's what he was thinking. But if you're Bayern Munich, why wouldn't you take 100 million and kind of like reinvest it?
I mean, I think they should consider it. I really think they should. They could pick up a very good young striker for 100 million pounds.
Yeah, Haaland
/ euros,
maybe.
Potentially.
Just do the cycle of the Dortmund to Bayern train as always. I mean, it could. I mean, if you're Bayern and you wait till next year and you've got 100 million to spend, why not?
Yeah, hashtag why not? Yeah. Just while we're on Bayern, I think you watched the German Cup as well, didn't you? I believe.
Yeah. It was a very good game.
Good game. Good game. I
loved it.
And again, Lewandowski is just the
next level.
He
just knows where to be. He's just one of those guys where it looks so easy. Like, it feels like the ball is just like a magnet to him, and he's always in the right place at the right time, which is not true. Obviously, he knows where to be and how to do it. So that's where his skill set comes in. But another thing is, Haaland didn't look very good, I thought.
No, I was not that impressed.
I was thinking
really make an impact on the game.
Yeah, he was visibly upset throughout the game whenever a ball was played to him, because Dortmund were playing we kick the ball long to Haaland, and Haaland goes and tries to score a goal, and it was when the ball didn't land at his feet, he would turn around and scream at whoever played the ball, and I thought, this is kind of like, this is a bit interesting. He looks very frustrated. He looks like a guy who expects better, wants to be on a better team. I'm just thinking this clock is like ticking. Dortmund, you better really.
I think everyone. He's not staying at Dortmund forever.
You don't think so? No chance. 0%.
No, I think it's just a case of when, not if. To be honest, he will go to a Madrid or City. I mean, if City got Haaland, then I would be quite
Haaland
worried.
And Lewandowski. And Harry.
Imagine that. Oh god,
all
I think
three.
Give up.
Yeah,
if that happens.
That would be.
Oh man, yeah.
You could play them in fantasy though, because Man City are already stacked, and I don't think I've got a single Man City player in fantasy football.
I have Mahrez. I have Mahrez, but again, the problem with City is they just rotate so much. You never know who.
Phil Foden playing next week in front of Mahrez. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
just one more thing on Haaland. He is still a super weird guy, though, isn't he? Did you see that clip going around on
Where he looks
Twitter
like
of
a
him like
FIFA
after
player.
the game? Literally
Yeah.
looked like FIFA. Like,
Yeah, it
he
was
is just
funny.
an
I did
odd
have to
guy.
laugh at
Like,
that. Yep. That was
such an odd
funny.
guy. So yeah, I'm assuming just coming back to where we started this. Man City play Norwich this weekend
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah. What's your prediction?
I can't see them struggling with that. I think,
No.
like you said, I think last week would be sort of the kick up the backside that they
Yeah.
needed.
Yeah.
And although I will give Norwich props against Liverpool, I think the 3-0 score line, on the one hand, it flattered us a little bit.
Yeah.
On the other, some of their defending
It's bad.
was
How
abysmal.
did
Like
Max Aarons play? Because I didn't watch the Liverpool
he
game.
was he was probably their one sort of
Player.
shining light. He's good. I like Max Aarons. He's solid.
At Arsenal, please sign Max Aarons.
Yeah, I think to be fair, he would be a great signing for you guys.
Yeah.
I
Supposed to be
think
only
he
about
really
20
he's
million.
young. Yeah, I think we were interested in him at one point, but then Trent has become the best right back in the world,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
we don't really need him now.
Need him.
But yeah, no, I could see that being 3, 4,
Yeah.
5 if Norwich aren't careful. I think going
exactly.
forward, they've made some decent signings. Norwich. I have a Norwich friend at work who keeps me updated with the Norwich going ons. But they did make a couple of good signings. They signed Milos Rashica, I believe is his name, from Werder Bremen,
Ooh,
who
nice.
really exciting attacking talent. Picked up another couple of sort of interesting players there. They've still got Todd Cantwell.
Yeah.
They did lose Buendia, obviously, but
Yeah.
you know, I have some optimism for Norwich a little
Yeah.
bit. Let's see how they go after sort of 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
yeah, no, I don't see them.
Shall
really
we
getting too much.
talk about Tottenham, because they did beat Man City? So
Yes,
we kind of like did it
they
the other
did.
way around, where we're talking about Man City losing. So what about
Yeah.
Tottenham winning? Are they the real deal?
I'm not convinced. Again, I like the manager that they eventually got after asking about 4,000 different managers.
Yeah.
I do like Nuno going over to them. And he's going actually this weekend. He's going back. They're playing Wolves this weekend.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice? Yeah. I think it would depend on Kane a lot.
Yeah.
I think if Kane stays, then they could potentially push for top 6. I don't see them pushing for top 4. I could see them pushing for that Europa League though.
Do they win anything?
I mean, it's Tottenham. Realistically speaking, no.
Oh yeah. So funny story. So not really funny, but I was going on Twitter, and you know the on the Saturday when they played, or was it Sunday? Was it Sunday that they played? Can't remember.
I think it was Sunday.
Sunday.
Whatever day it was.
Whatever day it was full of Arsenal bashing, and this is the new Tottenham. We don't need Harry Kane, blah blah blah. And then yesterday they go and play in the Europa Conference League and lose.
They lose, yes.
And that says and you know, people are gonna say that was our second team that was out there. I think what I read, what a stat was, that between that team they had over 1,098 appearances between them, and over 140 international caps on that team. And that's not like a young team. That's not an academy team they're putting out. There's a lot of really experienced guys out there. I do think it was a mixture of Man City not being prepared, not being ready, which is rare under Pep, but we had the Euros. I think you have to kind of like give it to them there. But I do think it was just more of Man City not being ready and Tottenham having good tactical under Nuno. So, I don't think Tottenham are going to be anything special. I don't even think they're going to be top 6, to be quite honest with you.
To be fair, I'm just having a look at this Tottenham team, and there are a lot of high numbers on this squad.
Yeah.
But despite that, I mean, you've still got Romero, who was a summer signing, Ben Davies, who is an international for Wales.
Yeah.
Doherty is an international. Lo Celso is an international. Winks has played a lot of Premier League games.
Yeah.
Ryan Sessegnon is not complete nothing.
Yeah.
Giel they just signed, so they've still got some.
Yeah, I mean, two
Premier League players
new
in there.
summer signings are in there that everyone was raving about, and they couldn't crack it against a Portuguese.
I mean, where
fourth
I've
team
never
in Portugal.
I've never heard of this team.
Yeah,
in my life.
I think they're a Portuguese team. I think they came 4th or 5th. Because obviously it's Sporting, Benfica, Porto, and then I think it's them.
I've never heard of them
Yeah.
ever. Acosta
They were
Ferreira.
in the
They
Europa
finished
League
fifth.
last year. They finished
They
fifth.
finished fifth.
They were in the
There you
Europa
go.
League last year because I remember seeing them. Okay, now I was watching Arsenal. I'd see them come up.
Yeah.
Here and there.
Yeah. So Spurs wise, yeah, I'm not convinced. I think
No.
Kane will change things. Obviously, if he leaves,
Well,
do you
does he
think
leave?
Daniel?
Does he leave?
I think that is a good question. I honestly don't know. When the Lewandowski news came out, I did sort of think, I mean, he's going to be cheaper than Kane.
Yeah.
Do Man City change their direction? This would be a good time if we had a really great editing setup to just pop up a meme of, there's that meme of like the guy looking back at the girl and there's Kane here and Lewandowski over there. Yeah. I could potentially see them swapping and picking up Lewandowski instead.
Yeah.
I just think Kane he's the relationship with the fans has to be.
It's going to be awkward.
Soured.
It's going. Yeah. I think it's good. Not only awkward between him and the fans, it's awkward between him and his teammates because every indication, whether it's Fabrizio Romano or even Tottenham, it feels like all signs are pointing to him leaving. And if you stay, it's like, okay, we're going to go through this circus again in January.
In 12 months' time. Yeah.
Or
in January
again. Is it 1 year he's got left on it, or is it 2?
From Tottenham's perspective, if it is 1 year, I'll see if I can find out quickly.
If it is 1 year, you've got to let him go.
Surely you cash in now. Like, you're not going to let Harry Kane go for nothing. Surely.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, to me, is if you're running a club, if a player's not staying, so you either make a player sign a new contract and say, you're going to be with us long term to save your asset and save your investment and keep the value that you have on it, or you let it go. And I think, Arsenal are the worst club in the Premier League at doing this. The worst club when it comes to securing long-term assets. And I'm glad that, we'll talk about Odegaard later, but Odegaard's on a 5-year contract with an option for a 6th year. He'll be, 28, 29 by the time he leaves Arsenal, if things do work out. That's finally something that Arsenal are doing. But, historically, Arsenal have just let players go for nothing. And it feels like Tottenham really should just cash in. If he's not going to sign, another, 3-4 year contract, just let him go. There's no point in having this effect on the team. You can reinvest that money, debatable whether they're good at reinvesting the money. Like, with Gareth Bale's money, they didn't particularly do anything with.
No.
But it's better than having a disgruntled player who is going to have question marks. The commentators every game will be like, is Harry Kane's head in it? Does he want to leave? Don't want this circus following you around for the next 12 months. So I think Daniel Levy needs to get his head out his arse and kind of just be like, it's over. Breakups are hard. Just we need to move on here.
Sometimes one of you needs to make a decision. Yeah.
Someone needs to make a decision.
Having a look at it, I did not know this. In 2018, he signed a 6-year contract.
He did. Okay, then that changes things.
He's got until 2024. Yeah,
he does.
So I think the power is with Tottenham here. Realistically, unless he's going to literally just sit out and not play.
Yeah. So then that's the question. Then no, if Harry Kane doesn't play, or if you're not happy playing football, you're not going to play well. So your value of that player is going to drop from 150 plus. Right now, Daniel Levy's declined 150 million from Man City. So let's just say
what does he value in that?
I don't know.
We know Daniel Levy is a stingy.
Yeah, exactly.
Stingy guy. We'll go with.
But I would say say they come to 175 million. That's kind of like their evaluation of him. Imagine turning that down. What happens if he becomes unable to score? His head's not in it. He gets injured. That becomes a 40, 50 million pound player. That's just.
Yeah. I think if
I don't know.
Every player has a price point. Every player,
exactly.
Like there must be a number that Levy.
But 175 million is not what Harry Kane's worth. 150 million is not what Harry Kane's worth. Jack Grealish is not a £100 million player. I don't care what people say about this stupid COVID market and all this crap. It's not He's not 100 million pounds.
No, absolutely
Harry
not.
Kane might be 90 to 100 million. That's what I would expect him to be at. But I guess if you have a player and you don't want to sell him, you have to pay that premium to get that player. So yeah, it is what it is. I do think
also with English players in the Premier League with the whole
the
quota,
tax,
obviously,
the English tax. We see that all the time. But yeah, I do think he's
Ben
going to
White.
leave. Ben White, yeah. I do think he will leave. I hope he leaves. I hope I see Tottenham fans cry. It'd
But
be nice.
I don't want him to leave because if he does go to City, somehow they've spent over £1 billion and they still have a missing piece. But they need a striker somehow. I don't know how they spent so much money. They don't have a striker, but they just seem to buy loads of sort of attacking midfielders.
That's true.
They've got loads, and that's it.
Yeah, they have like the interchangeable
and fullbacks,
number 9.
Loads of fullbacks.
Yeah. I think this tells you how bad a place Arsenal is, and I'm sorry I always bring it back to Arsenal, but I don't care if Harry Kane goes to Man City because Arsenal aren't competing with Man City. We're competing with like Leicester and Aston Villa. So it's like I don't care about the top of the table anymore. Like I want to be back in Europe, and that's my realistic expectations. If you're a Liverpool fan or a Chelsea fan or a United fan, you're praying that he goes to like Juventus or something.
Juventus, Real Madrid, Barca. You want to mess up your funds even more? Please come and take Harry Kane away from us.
Yeah, someone commented that even if he leaves Spurs, they'll still be better than Arsenal. Well, I guess we'll see whenever Arsenal do play Tottenham. I don't know when I think it's fairly soon actually. I think it's in October.
We might have to do a little live stream of that or something like that because I would love to see.
Well, we have just signed Odegaard, so we can. Odegaard will score again against Tottenham. Tottenham can have that one, cool goal that goes through everyone's legs.
Yeah, they always do. Yeah,
but end up losing 3-1
from all those years ago. Yeah. They always seem to have a long distance goal that just pops in.
All right, should we move on to something other than Spurs?
Yeah, we've talked a lot about very average football teams, so should we talk about a good football team? Actually, no. Maybe not. Then. we'll go on to Arsenal, Chelsea. We're on the Arsenal train anyway. So we have got another comment from Gabbo who's watching us. Hello, Gabbo. Who his prediction is Chelsea 5-0 Arsenal. I wonder who he supports.
I think that's not going to be far off the scoreline, to be honest with you. if the Brentford game is anything to go by,
let's just touch on that because I did watch the Brentford game.
Tell me how you thought, because I don't want any bias going here. Tell me, as a neutral fan, what did you think of that game?
It was just a real Jekyll and Hyde, because going forward, there were some good moments. I thought Tierney was I thought your player of the game. He looked incredible. He was really, really good.
Created, I think.
He was fantastic down that left-hand side. But I just thought at the back, still just like that second goal, the throw-in. Like what? If that was Liverpool, and I'm going to bring it back to Liverpool, because why not? Van Dijk is straight up there, head on, out the box, gone. Or he is telling someone like you're like.
Do you think Leno was fouled or not?
It's difficult. I know in the group chat initially I was like, nah, it's not a foul. It's not a foul.
Yeah.
The defender did have sort of his arm sort of locked. I don't know, but you also think as a goalkeeper, just get him the hell off you. Like, why are you allowing yourself to get into that situation?
I don't think it was. I don't know. I was a bit 50-50 on it, but I'm not going to really say, it's a foul on the keeper when there's a million things we could have done to prevent that even going.
That's the thing. I think that situation could have been avoided without then.
And it's the same with the first goal. I know the ball was out of play. 100% that ball was out of play. You can see it on the replay. It's out of play. But I don't know why Callum Chambers decided to... I'd have just left it for... I don't even know. I don't know. But
it was just classic Arsenal, really.
It was, but it was a very makeshift Arsenal team. And, at the beginning when the lineups came out and I saw, Lacazette's not playing, Aubameyang's not playing, I did say, I'm kind of happy. I'm kind of excited. Like, we get to see Balogun come up from the academy. We get to see Martinelli play when he's always stuck behind Saka and Aubameyang. So I was really excited to begin with, and I really did think we'd go out to win 2-0, pretty comfortable against the Brentford side. But it didn't end up that way. Of course, we're missing Gabriel. We don't know who's going to be playing right back. Obviously, Odegaard's going to come in. We're missing Aubameyang and Lacazette. Saka only came on in the 65th or 70th minute. Under a very stressful situation, nonetheless. And the last time he played football was under a stressful situation too. So
must just note as well, another fantastic reception for him coming on.
The
whole
course,
stadium giving him a really good cheer. So that's nice to see as well.
It is.
But I do have to say the scenes, the absolute scenes when that final whistle blew for Brentford, like their fans. Like first time they're back in the Premier League after 74 or the top division for 74 years. They're fat. I saw there was this one old guy who was like, you could see he was smiling with the tears rolling down his face. There was that clip of the manager going across to the young lad who sort of had learning difficulties or something. That was beautiful. Like it was like for the neutral, and I think probably even some Arsenal fans, they probably were a little bit like, yeah, I mean, this is kind of nice.
I was so pissed off, but at the same time, I was like, I love that manager. I don't watch the championships, so I didn't know what Brentford were going to be like. I've watched a bit of Tony.
They played,
but
they deserve. I think they deserve the win.
manager.
I genuinely think they deserve the win.
Yeah, they do. But the thing is, though, I wouldn't be surprised if they came back to the Emirates and got thrashed. And I'm not saying that as an Arsenal fan. I'm saying that as Arsenal did have chances to score numerous times, and every single goal that was conceded was self-inflicted. So it wasn't that Brentford were exceptionally good and Arsenal were just beaten on the day. It was Arsenal were unlucky and Arsenal were bad. So, the combination
I don't think you can take away completely from Brentford.
No, of course not. No.
But it wasn't that they just completely dominated Arsenal.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah,
because
exactly.
Again, if you look at the stats, Arsenal had 65% possession.
Yeah,
22 shots to 8.
Every game, though. It's the same every game.
But then of those 22 shots, only 4 on target, which isn't great.
But and also we're missing Partey, so there's a lot of missing pieces for Arsenal. I'm not trying to make excuses, but a lot of people like to say like, haha, Arsenal, you suck, like you lost against Brentford, but like that's fine, you guys can say that, but you have to look at the bigger picture. The team that will play Brentford at the Emirates will be 7 or 8 different players that were not playing on last Saturday or last Sunday, so. Good for them. I hope they stay up. I hope that, their good players don't move to bigger clubs unless they come to Arsenal. But, I wouldn't be surprised to see them struggling a bit down the line. Brentford.
You could, despite that, though, you could argue that obviously we said Tottenham lost despite the fact they had experience in that team that perhaps should have pushed them over. Mm-hmm. You could argue the same for Arsenal. They lost, but they have still got a team full of some internationals, perhaps not as many, but there are some internationals in there.
And of course. Yeah,
again,
of course,
Premier League players playing against a team that has its first time back in the top division after 74 years. So
I think that also you have to take into consideration the atmosphere would have been incredibly hostile for an Arsenal player coming into probably one of the loudest stadiums against a team that will show no fear. They're just like, okay, we're in the Premier League now.
Again, like from the fans' perspective, like they must have all been
of course
buzzing. That's probably the loudest they've all shouted and cheered for 90 minutes in their lives.
I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal are bad this season. I wouldn't say bad. I would say very mediocre. But it is the history of Arsenal.
So bringing it back to this weekend's game, Arsenal-Chelsea.
Yeah.
What's your actual prediction? Because Chelsea have strengthened further. Romelu Lukaku should be starting. He's been confirmed to be starting by Thomas Tuchel.
He's in my fantasy, so I hope he is.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
I was having actually a discussion with one of my friends again about Lukaku. Obviously, he had his previous stint with Chelsea as well as a stint with United. Gone away, Serie A, come back. It could be said that he wasn't very successful at United. We were sort of discussing, is this going to be a different Lukaku? Do we think that this is going to be the same Lukaku that we did see for a couple of years just for Inter Milan, scoring 60-odd goals in 2 seasons?
I think you have to look at it this way. If you look at the amount of chances Timo Werner has missed, Lukaku's not going to miss them. So Chelsea get the ball into positions where they should be scoring a lot more, but they aren't scoring them. And now you have a guy who scores for fun. One of the best strikers, in Europe. So I think I'm very worried for Arsenal. I don't know, Ben White. I mean, just look at the centre backs. How are you gonna match up against? I think only if Gabriel was playing, he would be able to handle them physically, but don't have a physical defender. Mari's not physical, and Ben White's not physical. Kind of wish we were going to play with a back three. Having that extra centre back to cover, for Lukaku, I think is a must. You could put Kieran Tierney and whoever else, maybe even Saka on the wing backs. You could play Saka right wing back or Tierney. Tierney, actually probably put Tierney as centre back, to be honest with you, because that's where he plays for Scotland. So I think it's gonna be a very difficult game for Arsenal, especially because Odegaard doesn't have his visa, so he's not gonna be playing.
Oh, does he not? Okay.
Obviously.
And has he got where is it? He's been in Spain. Does he have to quarantine as well?
Doesn't have to quarantine because he has been in the Spanish bubble. For the sports people, they have, like, if you're in the bubble with Real Madrid or Barcelona or whatever, you don't have to quarantine. So he doesn't have to quarantine. It was just that he has delays with visas, or his visa just won't be ready in time. It'll be ready for the next week, but it was just a bit too short. Of course, Arsenal leaving everything to the last minute. So it will be tough. I expect a very different Arsenal, though, because I think Saka will be starting and Aubameyang is apparently fit. So I suspect that, it'll be a bit more strengthened, but again, it's going to be a very inexperienced with, you're going to have Lokonga in the central midfield. It's only going to be...
Is he going to start, you think?
Yeah, there's no one else to start. Yeah, I think he was one of Arsenal's better players, to be honest with you. I think he's going to be an exceptional player 2-3 years down the line. But, it's not a bad thing that he's getting all this experience in. I'd rather have him getting this experience over Mohamed Al-Neni. Let's just put it that way. It's between the two. I'd rather have Lokonga getting that experience in. So I think it'll be interesting. I do think Chelsea will win. I do think it'll be probably I wish it would be a tight game, 3-2. That's what my heart wants to say. But my head's more like saying probably closer to 3-1. Maybe Arsenal snatch a goal. But yeah, I just don't see any weakness in Chelsea. They just look so strong. Kante is just going off right now. Lukaku's coming in. You're gonna have Timo.
Just while you've mentioned Kante, we should probably I've just remembered the absolute abomination of Jorginho getting nominated for Player of the Year.
Oh yeah, I did see that. You tagged me in that. That was
so it was Jorginho, Kante, or
Fernandes.
I can't remember now.
Was it Fernandes?
I'm gonna have to check that as well.
I would have picked Kante though. Kante is that is a player that I would put.
Oh yeah, so it's Jorginho, De Bruyne, and Kante.
I don't know. I think Kante is one of those 90 to 100 million pound players. That's why I wouldn't have paid that for a Grealish. But for Kante, 110%. That guy, there's nobody on earth like N'Golo Kante. Nobody on earth.
N'Golo Kante.
Yeah, and
I just think what are we giving this award for? Realistically, what are we giving it for? Because it's sort of like the NBA MVP. Every year, there's the argument of you give it potentially to the guy on the winning team who was the most important.
Right.
But I mean, in the NBA, it's called the most valuable player. Is he still the most valuable player? With this, again, the men's player of the year, I guess that gives it more of that, you're looking at that 12 months, who has been the best. But again, realistically, it should be like Messi or Ronaldo every year.
Oh,
still.
yeah.
I mean, they are still the best players in football. So.
Well, this year I wouldn't have given it to Messi or Ronaldo, both because Barcelona were very bad, although Messi still played very well, and Juventus were not. I mean, they weren't good in the Champions League, they weren't good in Serie A, so I wouldn't have given it to them. I'd have given it to. I mean, I think Kante and Kevin De Bruyne are two very good players. You could have given it to. One won the Champions League, the other won the Premier League. So I think Kante should get it just because, but he won't get it because he doesn't score the goals. He doesn't get the goals or the assists. He does the dirty stuff.
Neither really does Jorginho, apart from the occasional penalty.
Yeah, he takes the penalty, so I guess that makes a difference. But then he wins the Euro.
I just think you can't. Yeah, and this is the thing. Are they taking that into account as well?
I would take that into account. I would take internationals into account. Yeah, But then
I
you
mean,
can
in
give it
that
to
case,
Messi for winning Copa America.
yeah,
So
exactly, and that's the thing
it's
because
really messed up. I don't
just
know how they
because
do it.
he's a South American,
Yeah,
are they going to ignore that? Or yeah,
I would give
I mean
Euros
of
over
the
over Copa America just because
yeah
the Copa
yeah
America is a bit of a, you know, it's nowhere near
not
as
quite as
hard.
competitive.
No,
Yeah.
it's not. There's
I
two
mean
teams.
of the three, I think Kevin is clearly the best player of the three.
Mm,
When you look at the last 12 months, I would want Kante to have it. I just think if Jorginho gets it, I think I'd feel a little bit ill. Jorginho getting the Player of the
yeah,
Year.
I don't know. He
Come
won't. I
on.
don't think he'll get it. I do think it'll be between Kente and
I genuinely
KDB.
think he might though. Like you said, I think they will put stock into him winning the Euros, and I genuinely think he could win it.
Could do, but he got dropped for a while, didn't he, at Chelsea last year?
Yeah, I think he
So I don't
did.
think
Yeah,
you can give it to someone who got dropped, right? I
yeah,
don't think you
yeah.
can give it to someone. Kovacic looked good, by the way, for Chelsea this week.
Yeah, he looks solid.
He looked
Did you
really
see? Have you
good.
seen? Did you see what Jorginho did with his hair as well?
Yeah, that was funny
Take the
though.
piss out of him. That is very amusing. I will give
Yeah,
him
that
that.
was funny.
Take the piss out of England. If you haven't, check out his. He's dyed his hair blonde after the England. Well, Phil Foden said he was going to do his hair blonde, and the whole team were going to do it if they won. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's some good trolling. But the long and short of it, Chelsea are probably going to batter Arsenal.
yeah,
So
exactly.
we'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
And then the last game, we'll just touch on United because they did perform very well as well.
yeah,
Again, if you had Fernandes in your fantasy team, you were very happy. He got a hat trick,
yeah.
quad assist for Paul Pogba, I believe.
He probably won't get another assist all year. He's used them
Probably
all.
not, unless maybe this is the year that Paul Pogba
Maybe.
finally.
I mean, it's the
does
contract year.
things.
That's what we're talking about. The contract year where he could be going. He might get a new contract. Might be going to PSG. Might be going elsewhere. So this is going to be the year that Paul Pogba is probably going to have 10 goals, 20 assists or something. And
It could be.
but yeah.
Do you think he stays at United? Just while we're on Pogba.
Oh, it's a difficult one. Well, I would if I were him. Because Man United are finally clicking,
It looks as though they're getting somewhere, yeah.
he's been there during like the bad period where they really were bad, and now it's kind of
It
like,
would be a bit silly to then go now.
yeah, just when you're getting all those pieces in. I do think if Manchester United were to get Lewandowski maybe or something like that, I think that would kind of put the final piece on top of the puzzle to really go for the Champions League, go for Premier League, really challenge. But then again, PSG could be waiting, and you could be playing with Messi and Neymar and Mbappe. So
who they? Because their front three, I can't even remember who their front three was last week. Greenwood.
Was it Rashford? Did Rashford play?
No, Rashford's injured.
Oh yeah, of course he is. Yeah, it wasn't Cavani because he was injured also.
No,
I have no
who the
idea.
heck played? Because I was talking to some mates about this. Mason Greenwood, like what a finish! That goal
He's so
that he
young
scored.
as well, man.
Oh my god! I mean, whether you play him as your striker
Yeah.
or you leave him out wide, I don't know.
What do you do with Jesse Lingard? Do you
surely
sell
he
him?
has to go.
Well,
No?
apparently Solskjaer wants to keep him, but he's like, I want to go unless I'm going to be playing like every minute of every game.
I mean, that's I could sort of understand that. So they played with. I mean, they had, I guess, McTominay, Fred, Pogba, and then James, Bruno Fernandes, and Greenwood. It was probably a bit of just like people floating all over the place. I
it
imagine.
looks like it. I really do
Lewandowski
think
to United.
if they got rid of Fred and McTominay, because I don't think those two are.
Even as a Scottish man, you don't.
Yeah,
rate
no, I don't think he's
McTominay?
good enough to be.
No, I agree.
No, he's.
Do you remember when Fred got bought for 50 million?
Yeah, well, those two need to go for Man United. They really need an N'Golo Kante. They need Fernandinho. You need that kind of player. Those two are not it. Those two are not it. So, and then they need I don't know. Cavani is very, very good though, but it's just he doesn't play every
he's
game.
getting on as well.
Yeah, he's getting on. Like, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, we'll see. I guess.
I think they. And this is why I'm still not totally sold on the United title charge.
Yeah.
I'm still not totally sold on their back five as well. Sure, great Euros tournament. I think he looks solid coming in again. Wan-Bissaka is good going back, doesn't really offer much going forward, but I guess United don't really need that with the potential attacking options they have.
Yeah.
But Maguire, I still don't really rate Maguire. Lindelof, I think, is okay. De Gea on the decline.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced by them. I'm really not, to be honest.
Yeah, I think they still need to, to continue spending, I guess, to get these. I think they need to move a lot of players out. I think Martial needs to go. I think you just need to let go of
Yep.
Jesse Lingard. I think you need to cash in on Fred and McTominay, and kind of, get more.
I mean,
better
actually,
players.
I forgot they did sign Sancho, of course. So realistically, I imagine he's going to be in that front three, and you would imagine they're planning on Rashford coming back.
Yeah, I don't
I
think
guess it just
their
depends who they
attack
play
is
in the
the issue
middle.
though. It's the
Yeah,
defensive midfield that I have more of an issue with, to be honest with
yeah,
you,
no, I agree, I agree.
and the goalkeeper.
Because yeah, I mean, they're obviously they signed Van der Beek, but he
I don't know why he's still there. He should have gone this summer.
You don't give him one more season?
I love him. I would take him at Arsenal in a heartbeat, but I mean, if I'm a Van de Beek and I was playing every single game with Ajax, winning with Ajax, and I suddenly get to play some Europa League games here and there and cup games against some really bad players, like who wants to do that?
Yeah,
So
and you just can't get into that rhythm, and
yeah, it's
you could argue that's
and
why
he
not
scored on his first
performed,
goal on his debut, and it's like every time he plays, he's fantastic, but it's just for some reason Fred and McTominay are always in front of him. So it is what it is.
I mean,
guess.
yeah, if you had Fred starting ahead of you, you'd be pissed off. To be fair,
Yeah, 100%.
And that's their only other midfield option on the bench for that game was Matic, who's old
80.
and slow.
Yeah, must be.
They could do with some midfield depth.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not totally sold on the Manchester United title charge just yet.
Yeah.
But this weekend they've got Southampton.
Yeah.
I don't really see much issue with that, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean they sold their best player. They're not going to score many goals this season, I don't think. So I think.
Although saying that, I mean, I know they did lose to Everton last weekend, but Adam Armstrong, who they signed from Blackburn, I believe, did score. I mean, Michael Keane just gave him the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the worst errors I've seen in a long time.
Well, I think a collapse against Everton that never bodes well. Like you're winning against Everton and you just completely fall apart. Yeah, I don't think there's much to say.
Although I do think Everton will be a different team with Rafa. I still.
You do? I saw. Did you see what James Rodriguez said on Twitch today?
I don't think I did. What did James Rodriguez say?
Someone asked him about Everton like this weekend, what his prediction for the game this weekend was, and he was like, "I don't even know who they're playing. I don't even know who Everton."
He's still one of their players, isn't he?
Yeah, he plays for Everton, but he doesn't care. He's like, I've been left in the dumps.
I did see. Yeah, didn't he said something about Ancelotti leaving him at Everton? I'm sure.
Yeah. Because he said he came for Ancelotti and then he's gone. That is also something that I'm so shocked that clubs are not just like saying, please, like here's money for James Rodriguez, like a top class player.
He was
very good.
For Everton.
He was very good. I'm kind of shocked that clubs like Arsenal and Leicester maybe or Aston Villa haven't gone for him. A nice, really good, creative, influential player, very good experience. So yeah, mate, he's older now. Yeah. He's older now, but still can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, I mean, he's only 29. But yeah, he said, "I'll say it with all my sincerity that if Carlo weren't here, I wouldn't have come."
Yeah,
I'll say it with all my heart. He was one of the reasons for which I came.
Yeah,
and realistically, again, it was a coup for Everton to have picked him up. That was a surprise signing. I did not expect them to get him.
Oh, me neither.
I do feel a little bit bad for him.
Yeah, what a mess. Yeah,
we've got another comment from Big King. Van der Beek never actually looks good, so not a Van der Beek fan.
No fan, not a fan.
No, absolutely not. Maybe Arsenal do need to look and see if they can pick him up.
That would be nice.
Potentially.
One can dream.
One can dream. I mean, that's sort of the big games this weekend.
Yeah.
West Ham, Leicester for sort of that.
That's
top
a
six,
decent
top
game,
8.
to be fair.
That could be quite a good game. West Ham looking solid. They had a good performance first week. Hi, Michaela.
He's making an appearance on the stream. Yeah.
How exciting. So that could be quite a good game. I think aside from that, nothing too exciting going on in there.
Yeah.
I do believe just we did briefly touch on Barcelona and Real Madrid. I think they won. They both won
Games, yeah.
their first games, I
Yeah, they
believe.
did.
I think it didn't Braithwaite get 2 goals
Yeah,
for
he did.
Barcelona as well.
Seems like
What a
Messi was
guy!
holding
What a
him back
guy!
the entire time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
It will be
mean,
interesting to see. I mean, I assume again it's going to be either.
I
Well,
think Real
Atleti, I
Madrid
forget about
win.
Atleti actually.
I think
You
Real
think?
Madrid win. Yeah, I think Real Madrid are
Yeah.
gonna win it. But again, it'll be Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
I do think it's gonna be Real Madrid.
And I think yeah, they've just extended Benzema, I believe, haven't they today?
Yeah, they did it
He
today,
got
and they
the
also
goal. Yeah.
re-signed the guy that was on loan. I can't remember his name. Begins with a V, but he's supposed to be incredibly good.
Vinicius?
No, not
No?
Vinicius. Another guy. Can't remember what his name is. I actually hadn't really heard of
Some
him,
guy.
but looked into him, and he was apparently very, very good, highly
Is he?
rated.
Vasquez?
But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the post-Messi era looks like in Spain. Definitely not as exciting anymore.
Their bench, Madrid's bench, is still mad. Like they were
Oh,
able
of
to bring
course.
on
I don't think Real Madrid will ever be bad.
Marcos Asensio, Luka Jovic, forgot he was there.
Yeah.
Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo, Isco. They've got Odriozola on the bench.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still actually. And just from that Madrid game last week, did you see Hazard's assist?
No, I didn't actually. I didn't see the goals.
Woo! Yeah, you need to look
Hazard's
that
back.
up. It was like
Hazard's back.
It was like a through the legs little. Oh yeah, it was very nice.
Nice.
If you haven't seen that, you should check that out.
PSG are currently winning against Brest, even though there is no
Bro,
Neymar and no
on the
Messi still.
screen, God.
Yeah. But
Yeah, they're gonna absolutely walk Liga.
I think
like getting Messi for them is.
I kind of
that's
wish
just
I could
disgusting.
put a bet on PSG going undefeated, like having an invincible season in.
Surely you can. Someone will
Liga.
give you those odds. Someone
I'm
will.
sure there is somewhere, but I think it would be a pretty. If you put a tenner on it, pretty. I think they'd go pretty far, because Lille were good last year, but they're not going to be as good as PSG, right? So,
Nah, they're not. They're
and
not.
also their best player, the guy that Liverpool were going after, Renato Sanchez.
Renato Sanchez.
Yeah, he's done his knee or something, so
Oh, has he?
and he's out for 4 months, I believe. So,
Oh, damn.
best player is out. So, we'll see.
Unfortunately, I can't find odds, but I'm sure if you went to Sky Bet or someone and say, "Give me the odds on that," they'll give you some. They'll give you some odds.
Yeah,
They could do it. They honestly could do it.
If you don't win with, go undefeated with Mbappe, Messi, and Neymar, with
Honestly, that front three is.
you should be scoring 4
is
goals a
that-
game.
Which is a better front three? That front three or Messi, Suarez, Neymar?
Messi, Suarez, Neymar.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Suarez was just a different animal.
Yeah, and also,
it's still-
that's prime Messi back then. Like Messi
True,
hasn't
true.
gone downhill, but that was like Champions League,
That was
like
literally,
Messi,
yeah.
like that was.
What are you saying about Champions League then as well? Could this finally be PSG's year?
Yeah, I placed a bet on them winning the
Did you?
Champions League actually. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. There
So,
you go.
yeah, all my faith has been put into since Arsenal are not in it. I'm not. I'm just gonna PSG, if they don't win the Champions League, I really think they should win absolutely
That's
everything.
the one trophy they want. That's
Oh
literally the
yeah,
one.
that's
trophy.
why. Well, I think that's why Messi and Neymar aren't even playing right now. They're resting. They're recuperating
Probably,
after
yeah.
Copa America. They,
Yeah.
they're gonna ease them into the season, and Ligue 1 is all but theirs really. And then when Champions League time comes around, that's what Messi's there for, man. That he's there to win the Champions League and float his way to a Ligue 1 championship.
Yeah.
He's there to win
He's
Champions
one
League
thing
again.
and one thing only.
Yeah, and I mean that midfield.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about the attack. I mean, the midfield is outstanding too. Your boy Gigi, Genie.
Jimmy Van Adam. Yeah.
He's there. So
And they're another one their bench must be absolutely disgusting as well. That transfer window they've just had,
yeah,
it's got to be one of the best from the perspective of the players that they've picked up.
yeah,
Like that's a fantastic transfer window.
yeah. They're so confident they have Di Maria on the bench tonight.
Madness. It
Wow.
was just unbelievable for Argentina in Copa America.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
crazy,
was.
crazy, crazy times. I'm just wondering, anything else in the world of football to touch on? I don't think there's been anything else
Huge
too
Arsenal
wild.
signing.
Ramsdale.
Yep. Ramsdale's now an Arsenal player. To be fair, I do want to do a quick talk about him. Not talk, quick. No, minute.
We can have a little mention, yeah.
I think Arsenal fans are the worst fan base right now. 100%.
I mean, I think that
100%.
worse? I think I would say they're the most toxic. 100%.
Toxic, 100%. Yeah, that's
just being
probably
really
the worst
rubbish.
word.
Man City's fan base.
Yeah, that's why I meant toxic. Yeah, so
but yeah, they're 100% the most toxic.
I have, as an Arsenal fan, more people blocked on the most, like the fan base I have most blocked on my Twitter is Arsenal fans. I block 5 or 6 Arsenal fans per day. Like if I'm scrolling through Fabrizio Romano's like replies, Arsenal fans like block. But Aaron Ramsdale, 23 years old, was player of the season at Bournemouth and Sheffield United. And you know, if you look at the players who have been in front of him, it's not like he's had decent players at all.
I mean, that first season when Sheffield first came up and they had that great season.
Yeah,
he was fantastic. Last year they all went. They just went.
Of course. I mean, as a goalkeeper, like we saw with Liverpool last season, they struggled without Van Dijk. Goals went in, and if you look at it, I think I read that Mendy, Alisson, who else? Ederson, and there was one other keeper at the age of 23 were all second or third choice keepers. So the same age as Ramsdale is right now, nobody had heard of any of those keepers who are, without doubt the best keepers in the world right now at the same age Ramsdale's at. So in my eyes, Ramsdale is already one step ahead of him because he will be the number one keeper at Arsenal next year. And he will be gaining experience as the first choice goalkeeper when it comes to cup games, and if Leno gets.
I was going to say, could you see him taking that number one jersey this year?
I wouldn't be surprised if Arteta knows that Leno is leaving next summer and puts him in as the number one keeper end of the season.
Yeah, right, okay.
Especially if Arsenal are so far behind in the 8th spot or 9th spot that not Champions League, Europa League is unattainable. I can see him throwing him in and just saying, Leno, like you're out the door anyway. It doesn't really matter too much. So, I'm sick of Arsenal fans. To be honest with you, this whole transfer window has been an absolute mess. People are complaining about Martin Odegaard. Arsenal fans have the audacity to complain about getting Martin Odegaard. What world are they living on? It just drives me insane. Insane.
The only thing I could say is whether he's really what you need. But
I'd
again,
say he was.
I would love any signing. Just give me anything.
Yeah.
Liverpool.
So
something.
Yeah,
Anything.
I mean, with Liverpool, I mean, you guys have done nothing. But then again, you can still compete. You're lucky in the way that you can still compete for Premier League, Champions League, whatever you want to compete with.
Yeah, I mean, I did see someone. Someone's said that if you think about it, for Liverpool. We've basically got back the squad that we had that completely demolished the Premier League. Plus, since then, we've now added Konate, Thiago, and Jota.
Yeah, and I feel as though you've also almost got like a new signing in Virgil van Dijk because he's been out for so long. So it feels like you have a new player coming back in.
We've got another comment from Big King. Liverpool is up there for toxicity, apparently.
I feel as though when you follow.
I think this is my friend. I could be wrong. It could be someone completely random, but I think this is my friend Thomas.
Oh, really? The one we play Call of Duty with.
Yeah, the one we play Call of Duty with. Yeah, who also lives in Liverpool. So I think he's surrounded by Liverpool fans, and he probably hears a lot about it. Worst. But yeah, to be fair, there are some awful Liverpool fans on Twitter as well. I need to start doing that and blocking people.
It makes it so much better because it's just so full of trolling and nonsense and people who just don't understand football. Like you're telling me you'd rather spend,
literally just like 13-year-old kids,
50 million more on James Maddison, who has played like 1 or 2 good seasons, and he's suddenly an 80 million pound player. Like, give me a break. Like, there's no shot. This kid has been playing at Real Madrid. He's 22. Like, please. I saw James Maddison play at age 22, like in Aberdeen, and Odegaard is already far ahead of that. So
Yeah.
yeah, it just drives me mad, man. It drives me mad.
You feel
What
a
do you
little
think
bit better
about?
for that.
I'm
You feel a
seeing.
bit better for that.
We're talking about Liverpool though. Like, what do you think of Salah getting a new contract, or like the talks of him getting a new contract?
You give him what he wants. Anything.
You think so? At his
Yeah,
age,
just give him
you're
whatever.
willing to
Yeah.
give him like a 6
I
6 year
this
contract?
this man is one of the main reasons why we now have a Premier League title. Like I was having this conversation with a couple of my mates, Thomas and George, and I was saying he has to be up there in Premier League, like one of the greatest Premier League players ever.
Right.
I think like
I
his goals record from the wing position, like the amount he scored.
Yeah.
I just think he's incredible. He's incredible. If
Yeah.
we lose him, you don't replace him. Like, I don't know how we replace him if he goes.
So my question to you is, we did this talk with Jordan Henderson.
Yeah.
So say Mohamed Salah's 29 now. Say you give him a 5-year contract. At age 31 or 32, he becomes Willian. That can't score, can't get on the field.
I would be shocked.
Worst case scenario I'm
what
talking
you mean.
about,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he's on like 350k a week. Like, are you're taking on that risk, right?
Yeah.
You
I would take that on.
still
For him,
okay?
yeah, I would. Yes, absolutely, 100%. This he is. He's a god, man. He's an absolute god. He's an Egyptian. He is the Egyptian king. We sing about it in the cop. He's the
Well,
Egyptian
I am
king.
sure that he is not going to be as bad as Willian, so I think
No,
you're
I don't
safe.
think. And that's the thing. Like, realistically speaking, he's unless he literally does fall off a cliff.
Yeah.
Again, we just talked about Lewandowski, 35 years old.
Yeah.
He's just scored another how many goals in the Bundesliga? Who's to say Salah
But
could be
I
doing
think
that?
the difference with that is Lewandowski doesn't rely so much on pace. Salah does a lot
True.
with
True.
running.
Yeah.
He's more of like just in the box, right place, right time kind of guy.
Yeah, no, I get
Salah
that.
is very much I create my own goals.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah.
So that
No,
would be my only
I
issue.
just think
is
again
speed.
for what he's done for us, almost as like a thanks for your help, lad.
Yeah, a pat on the
think
back and a 300k.
Yeah,
per
exactly.
Week
Yeah,
package.
I mean, again, he scored for the time that he's been. It's a bit of a running joke on Liverpool Twitter that whenever there's like someone like breaks a record or comes close to it, it's always like just behind Mo Salah or as
Right.
well as Mo Salah, or it's always now just like Mo Salah has the same, or he's just like he's just. I just love Mo. I just love Mo. Like I genuinely like when he leaves. If I honestly, I would love him to retire with Liverpool. Like that
think
would be
he
the
will.
dream.
I don't see him going anywhere else. He's
Not
making
unless
enough
there's
money that he doesn't need to go to
yeah.
a Serie A team again or a
I don't
Bundesliga
get the
team,
vibe
or-
that he's that kind of guy. To be honest,
No.
like I can't see him doing like a little last year in the MLS or anything like that.
No, I don't
just-
think so. He could maybe go back to Egypt and have fun, or Qatar or something, maybe, because he's from the Middle East. I could see that happening. But I mean, as far as Xavi and Iniesta are still playing, right? But we kind of like associate them with retiring with Barcelona, really. I could see that kind of happening with Mohamed Salah, but not until he's 35.
Oh yeah, no, it's gonna be that sort of age. And again, he might just think, I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah,
But I think he may one day have a statue
Maybe
outside
a
of
stadium.
Maybe
Replace
the most
Anfield with the Mohamed Salah Stadium.
No, I could see him having a statue outside.
Oh yeah,
Anfield.
I think so.
Especially if I don't see why we shouldn't be challenging for titles for the next 2-3 seasons at least.
Absolutely.
I mean, if we sign, yeah. Like we've locked up Henderson, Fabinho, Van Dijk, Alisson,
Robertson's there for a while.
Robertson, Trent. He's not going anywhere. Like
You said Alisson, yeah.
Canate, Jota's young. I just think we could. Yeah, this could be the time of Liverpool. Hopefully, the time of City is over.
I just feel like the time of City are just gonna like be like a constant like pain because they're just gonna be buying players all the time.
Someone's done and old and stuff. Yeah, we're just going to spend another 100 million.
Exactly.
But actually, we'll probably do a bigger chat on this. But news that we saw yesterday, potentially of a salary cap
Yeah.
to replace FFP, which might actually do something in terms of stopping City from being. Oh, well, wasn't it? Was it? I think it was a salary cap, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Was it a
Yeah,
salary cap?
same,
Yeah, yeah.
similar to MLB, baseball in
And
America.
NBA, and yeah, I really like that idea. I think it's a great idea.
Well,
I think
the
when you look at the NBA and how it works in there, it keeps it like you don't have one team generally.
yeah.
You get the occasional super team, but generally, like every year, you could have 5, 6, 7 teams that could win it because you
Yeah.
don't have the ability just to go out and spend however much
But
you
as
want.
far as I read that article by the Telegraph, it didn't mention NBA and NFL. It mentioned MLB, which is a bit different in their salary cap,
Oh,
in
okay.
which you are given a certain amount per year. I think it's 200 million roughly right now to spend on your salary per year. But you can go over that, but you have to pay tax to the association if you want to go over
Right.
that.
Okay.
So it's something like, I can't remember how much extra it is. I think, for example, the Houston Astros were over $2 million over the threshold last time, so they had to pay X amount of dollars, and that is up to the owners there to fulfill that kind of
Yeah.
thing. So I think if they were to do that,
But
I
then
think
in
the
that
penalty
case,
would
Man
have to
City,
be
they don't
yeah. But
care
then
then.
that's where I think the penalty should be incredibly severe. Not severe as in like punishing them, but as in you're gonna have to pay,
A lot of
10
money.
times the amount that's going over. So if you're spending £1 million more per year, you're actually paying us £10 million
Yeah.
more per year. There needs to be like a huge
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree.
slap right there, because otherwise, I think Chelsea will go over it. I think Man City, I think PSG will be way over it. Barcelona are way over it. Real Madrid, I wouldn't be surprised if even smaller clubs like Arsenal are probably already over it. So I think it would be hard to implement though, because what do you say to PSG? Like, hey, you guys have got to sell players this year, even though they have 4-year contracts. Like,
you'd have to give them enough time.
I feel as though it would have to be 2025, right, or
Something like that.
2026.
Yeah,
So if you were to implement it now, it would be 2026, because then all the 5-year contracts are up in five years. So. So this is going to take forever to implement. Yeah, it's not going to happen anytime soon, and who knows? Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I find it incredibly hard for this to be implemented, because all the big teams will say no, the small teams will say yes. I don't.
It just depends on the split, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It depends on the split, where the split is. If it's at the lower end, more teams will vote against it. If it's at the higher end, more teams will vote for it. It's something that is going to take a while to figure out, I think. Yeah. But it's also got to be ratified across every European club, because Champions League is totally unfair. So it needs to be across everywhere, across FIFA, or at least across UEFA.
That's the more challenging thing. Whereas, the MLB, you only have 30 teams.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is across.
I actually saw the other day that there's there's 15 teams who have one player on a bigger salary than the entire of the Pittsburgh Pirates. So the Pittsburgh Pirates salary is only 24 million, but the Astros have a guy who is getting paid like 35 million a year. So it's
why are the Pirates doing that? Are they just rubbish?
So because the owners, it's kind of like having a bad owner in football. You don't want to pay to have expensive players. So say you get a rookie that comes in that turns out really good, and you got to give him a new contract, and he wants 40 million. You're going to trade him instead of pay him. So that's what they do. They're more of a,
stepping stone.
Yeah, exactly.
That must be really frustrating for Pittsburgh Pirates fans.
Tickets? How much are ticket? How much did you say? How much?
That must be really annoying for their fans.
Oh yeah, they hate it. Yeah, but
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, it's baseball.
That's baseball. I'm not getting involved with that. Sorry. Yeah. I like my NBA, NFL, baseball. I can't get into. I'll leave that to you and Gabbo. I think we've probably gone long enough. We've been speaking for a long
an hour and 15
time.
minutes.
Oh, that's a long time to listen to me and you.
Yeah, a long time.
We'll say thank you very much for those that have joined us. We'll try and we've been slacking a little bit. We've got life things happen, but we're going to try and get some more regular uploads going. I think you guys are going to potentially do something tomorrow, and we'll try and have that up either as live, inshallah, as live, or to go up in the next few days. happy watching over this weekend's Premier League. Unfortunately, I'm at work, so I'm going to miss Liverpool, which is a shame.
That is a shame.
But I should be back to watch Chelsea absolutely dominate Arsenal, so I can't wait for that.
I wish I was working for that one. Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys. We'll leave it at that, though. We'll see you next time. Oh, make sure you subscribe as well. I forgot about that. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done. Make sure you subscribe.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
All right. Cheers.
Peace.